What's going on, guys? Sean Don, coming back. Technical analysis. Here we have Tyler Hewitt, a collegiate hammer thrower who is learning four turns, sticking to it. Said he saw one of my videos. I think it was my training progression or throwing progression video, where I said, learn how to do four turns. And once you learn, don't go back. That way you can learn it right. So yeah, he said he's sticking with four turns now. PR of I think just over 46 meters. He's trying to drop some bombs this year. So let's check it out. Alright, so let's see here. Okay, so Tyler, let's see what we got going on here. So coming through the ones, a lot of left and right shift, which I guess is kind of normal. You got to kind of counter the hammer. When the hammer goes left, you got to go right a little bit. And but I would say try to keep your weight lined up on your left side a little bit more. So as the ball comes left, try to stay back on this left side a little bit more, and imagine staying in the center as opposed to totally countering it. Because if you try to stay in the center, naturally you're going to have to hold an isometric contraction and counter the ball, but not actively counter. So you're going to hold your position, but you're not going to, flex or, actually push to the other side, to the right side. So, yeah, keep weight lined up a little bit more on this little step. Weight on the left side more, and then as you come through, not too shabby. Hands are a little bit down. So if you can see, this right elbow kind of pulls down just a bit. So your hands drop a little bit, and then they rise. But you do a good job. You don't come up with it too much. But coming through entry, like I said, try to enter just a little bit flatter. Think about pushing this ball straight, flat across. Think about pushing that right elbow straight across, not down. And as you come through, you can see your left foot goes a little early, your left leg. So left's pointing to about 45 degrees, your right's pointing to about 45 degrees before zero, so it was at 315. I don't know how to feel about that. I guess it's not bad. But ideally you want this left side and this right side turning in conjunction with the ball. And your left side's just a little bit ahead and your right side's a little bit behind. In a weird way, it's kind of balanced out because your right is about as far behind as your left is ahead. Yeah, still just try to turn with the ball more. Especially your lower body. That's the main thing. You can see it just looks a little tight through the arms, just a bit, and through the shoulders. You can see you start to shrug upwards. Not the best. You want to try to stay long and relaxed. Keep those shoulders down, and really, if anything, you want to protract your shoulders forward, not shrug them up. That should help lengthen your radius just a little bit. Sneaky little right leg coming through. Catching early, that's great. That's a sick position. Hips are relatively under the shoulders. You might be able to be a little bit more posterior pelvically tilted. Posteriorly pelvic tilt? I don't know. You want your hips a little bit more forward in a posterior pelvic tilt, just to try to set up that posture just a little bit better. But this is pretty good. You're catching the ball super early. That's great. It's better than most people. So you catch early. Let's see. And you don't really come off too early in that first turn either. Maybe a little bit longer double support, but you do a good job. Catch at 180. And then, yeah. So the biggest thing is catching. When you catch the ball this early, it makes it really hard to not mess up afterwards, because when you catch and you're going to have to wait until you can work the ball efficiently. So everybody thinks that, pushing the ball as soon as you catch is the right thing to do. And I'm not saying that it's not, but I haven't thought about that much this year. I know I used to use that cue a lot in the past, but ideally when you catch, you just want to hold and let gravity do its thing and pull the ball down so it'll accelerate naturally. And then as the ball approaches 0, I'd say about here, once that left heel comes down, that's when you really want to start thinking about working the ball, especially with your hips. You can try pushing with the hands a little bit, or maybe a pendulum backwards, or a combination of all three, which is what I do. But yeah, so left heel comes down, and then you want to go to work, not too early. And I think that's why the tendency is, so you think push, but then most people don't know how to work their right side well enough to actually push, and then just end up kind of pulling through the throw. And so you catch super early, and then what's going to happen is this left shoulder and this left leg is going to open early. So your left side is going to be overactive. As you can see, as you come down and you catch, the only thing that moves for a solid 4, 5, 6 frames here is your left side. Ideally, you want your right side to be the engine of the throw, so you want to be working this right leg, right hip, right foot turning, right knee turning, right hip turning, whatever you want to think about. It wants to go around this left side. So when you catch on one, especially when you catch this early, you need to think I like to think of the word hold. So you want to hold your position, your posture here. You want to wait. You want to work that right side, work that right side, work that right side. So the lower body right side, not the upper body right hand push, but rather hold your posture and then work that right leg along with the ball. Ideally, you should see this femur kind of almost in perfect line with the ball if your hips are working with it well. But otherwise, and then you can even see you kind of have this dorsiflexed, or no, it's plantar flexion. Sorry, plantar flexed foot. So like you're getting a little bit of work with that right foot, but that plantar flexed, almost downward pointing foot is a sign that you're not using your right side as efficiently as you could, and this is something I struggle with as well. But still, you do a pretty good job of getting around that left side. You can see you come off a little early. Ideally, you'd want the ball at least past 90 degrees before that right foot comes off the ground, and I think that's a reaction to you not working the ground as well as you could with that right leg. So you come off a little early to try to get ahead of the ball. It's also a symptom of that left side taking over early. Yeah, so since you come off a little early, you get pulled around this left side a little bit rather than staying in the center. So you get pulled over to the left a little bit, and then posture it's okay here. Hips a little bit, behind the shoulders. If anything, you want your hips a little bit more forward underneath the shoulders. Not as early as a catch as the first turn, but hey, it's all good. Don't got to catch early every turn to throw far. But your left heel gets down really early here. And I know some people say, at least most of the Germans and Europeans in general, they say you can't really work the ball efficiently until your left heel's on the ground. And yeah, great job there. You can see the right leg working much better in this turn, but your left side is just so dominant right now in this throw. You can just see, look at that, your head's leading a little bit, your head's leading the ball, left foot's not that bad, but you can just see how tight that left shoulder is. So much tension up there. It's got to relax the arms. I think the better you get at working your right side through the throw, the more calm down that left side is going to get. And as you come through, and so you kind of have that same motion because you come off early just a little bit because that left side is leading. Once again, you get pulled around that left side a little bit. And oh yeah, there's something else I want to say. It looks like you get pulled forward a little bit too here. You don't quite find that. So not only do you get pulled around left a little bit, but you get pulled backwards a little bit because your pendulum. So as the ball comes through 0, you want to think about accelerating backwards just a little bit, like a little nudge backwards towards the sector. And you don't quite have that well. So this is once again another symptom of not working that right leg that well. it just kind of touches down and turns a little bit. It doesn't actually apply force backwards into the sector. That right knee doesn't really extend at all. But yeah, so then you come around and catch, and a little bit later, flat-footed here, generally not a good thing. Landing flat-foot is fine for the first turn, but going into the 2, 3, 4, you might be able to get away with the flat foot in 2, but definitely not going to go well in 3 and 4. So yeah, try to land on that ball, that right foot. That'll help you work that right side more. And then you can see right foot comes down, left side, left side, left side, left side, left side, and you finally get a little right side movement. So really try to calm that left side down, be much more patient with that left side, and be much more strong with that right side, that right leg, that right hip. And you can see here once again, shoulder's not as tight, but as you go into the final turn, your left shoulder's up and your right shoulder's down. And once again, you're getting that kind of plantar flexed right foot and left side leading, head leading. And once again, you're kind of missing that pendulum. So as ball comes through here, the left heel comes down. You want to think about pushing in the exact opposite direction of where the ball is at. So as the ball's right here, you want to think about driving down what would almost be the right sector line over here. Drive backwards down that right sector line, and then as it comes through, you counter, let the ball go free out left, relax, let the ball go. And then, yeah, but because you don't pendulum well, once again, you kind of come around and then kind of backwards. And I'm guessing this is going to be your latest catch of all the turns, and it pretty much is. And it's also your worst posture. Not to say that it's terrible or anything, but and you can see there's a big preparation for this final turn. This right foot comes off so early in this third turn. Ball's just past 45 and right foot comes off. And then, yeah, coming through. That's the weird thing about the hammer is the more you relax and let the ball do its thing, the longer you keep your right foot on the ground, the faster your right foot's going to come down, whereas this is kind of the opposite. This is the hammer system, the way you're accelerating the ball isn't that great, so this right foot comes off really early, and then it lands really late. The hammer's a weird event where that, that's a thing. And the foot's even a little bit wide here, but still. And then mostly left side, and yeah, so this is and then falling back from this this finish, this is another sign that you're missing that pendulum, that you're missing that pulse towards the sector. Once again, this right foot comes down, this right leg should still be working, and once again, you want to be almost countering backwards, driving backwards with your legs to kind of counteract the forces pulling you forward through here. You can even see here your left side is very dominant. Yeah, it's weird that you come off on that right foot, but still. Yeah, so a lot of things that you can work on, Tyler. And honestly, when it comes to learning the 4-turn, always try to go slower first. So learning that new rhythm, it takes quite a while. I think it took me almost 2 years to find a good rhythm with a 4-turn. So always think about starting slower, and it'll come eventually. Just think, most people want to start fast, but then they'll end up finishing slow. So start slow, learn how to accelerate the ball properly, and you'll do great things this year, man. Yeah, left side's really dominant. I feel it though, because I do the same thing. But yeah, plenty of room for improvement. I would not be surprised if you throw 50 meters this year. If you get this stuff ironed out, if not even further, I could see 52, maybe 54. So yeah. Alright, if you guys got any questions, or if you want a technical analysis of your own, hit me up. Instagram, Facebook, anything, Twitter, social media, YouTube, just let me know. And yeah, we'll get something worked out. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Sean Don, peace and out.